Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be talking about 10 things everyone who has autism wants you to know. But first, if you could smash me a big thumbs up down below and subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'll forever be grateful. So, like I say, let's get on to the video. So, if you have recently joined my YouTube journey or you have been here for quite a while, you will know that I am being assessed for autism. So I wanted to do my bit to raise awareness of autism, as again, just like ADHD, there's a stigma behind it. Professionals, parents, teachers, nobody really understands unless you have it. So I want to do my bit and use my platform as a positive way to spread awareness of ADHD and autism. For the first thing everyone who has autism wants you to know is they are more than their autistic diagnosis. Autism is only a small aspect of who they are, because they are human. They aren't their autism, they aren't their traits, they are them. They are who they are. They aren't their autism. So remember that. They are so much more than their autism. Don't judge them, because they are human and they have a lot more to offer. So autism is not who they are. So just remember that. So for number 2, it has to be for people who are non-autistic or neurotypical, for example, who don't have autism or they aren't on the spectrum. They may think this one is like, they will just like, what? But it is so important that people can start to realise this. Ordinary sounds, smells, noises can just be a part of life. But if you have autism, they can be super painful, they can be really overwhelming and triggering and very uncomfortable. They can actually make you have migraines, they can make you feel anxious, depressed. These things cannot be taken as a joke when you have autism. People need to realise that they are actually physically painful, very uncomfortable, triggering to a person who has autism. These sort of things need to be made more aware, because when you're in a supermarket, there's unexpected noise. That's inevitable. Children, adults with autism, that can be extremely, overwhelming, and I want people to realise that actually it needs to be taken more seriously. There needs to be more accommodations made to those of us who have autism, who are on the neurodiverse, spectrum. There are so many neurological disorders that this actually impacts. So I am going to be doing another video on that. I don't want to make this one too long. So just remember, guys, touch, feel, smell and noises can be very overwhelming to someone who has autism. So for number 3, it has to be, just because we may not look you directly in the eye, or you may feel that we're not listening to you, that doesn't mean we aren't listening to you. When you have autism, it's very difficult to maintain eye contact. It can be very uncomfortable, can make you feel very anxious, very, like someone's in your personal space. It isn't easy for us. Eye contact is not a way of us communicating. Don't take it, oh, you're not listening to me. No, that is completely wrong. So just because you think we may not be listening, or you might just think, oh, they're not interested, or they're just not looking at me. No, it's more than likely because we don't understand you. How you're interacting with us may not be engaging, or we just might think, I don't understand, I don't know what I meant to do, I don't understand you. So for this one, what I would suggest is, like I say, accommodating those people with autism. Make sure they feel comfortable in the environment. Take them to a quiet place. Take them to somewhere a little less busy and crowded. You have to make accommodations. It's not that we're not listening, it's simply because actually we don't understand you, so you need to adjust how you approach us and communicate with us. It's really important that people that work with the public, i.e. the police officers, firefighters, nurses, doctors, supermarket workers, it's really, it would be great if people would start kind of understanding and learning the common but also the uncommon traits of autism. As a lot of I've read really horrible horror stories of children that have autism that are lost from parents, or they're at an accident site, maybe a car crash or something, and they're unable to communicate, and they are actually sworn at and shouted at as if they are stupid, but actually it's not that. You need to learn how to communicate with someone who is on the spectrum. They may not have, you know, I don't understand. I think people assume because you can't see autism they don't have it, but it's not written on their forehead. They don't look autistic. You have to learn these, you know, the most common and the uncommon like traits of autism to understand. It's so important that people who should be trusted in the public eye have a decent understanding, so that kids, adults with autism are comfortable enough and feel safe in your presence. So for number 4, it has to be, we like routines because we know what to expect. People with autism, they don't like surprises. Well, not everyone doesn't, but it is a common, like, known fact. We don't like the unknown. We like to feel in control and to kind of know what to expect. Like, what shall we wear headphones today? Is it going to be loud? Is it going to be overwhelming? What to expect? Ultimately, we can't control everything, but if we have a well-established routine and a structured life, it can make life less overwhelming and anxious for us if we do feel like we have control over our routine, our daily structure. So that's super important, that if you are a teacher, a parent, a friend with autism, just make sure you are, you know, you're educated just as much as anyone else on, my child likes this, because not like with your child's being annoying, we can't help it if we change the routine. No. You need to accommodate a child with autism. They cannot help it. It's not a choice. This is, again, a really important one that I need everybody to listen to. So for number 5, it's going to be, don't compare me to a neurotypical, or actually don't compare me to anyone. So with autism, you know, these milestones that kids may reach, I've done multiple videos on this, milestones do not exist. A child will reach them when they reach them. Same with autistic children. They will reach their milestones when they feel comfortable and when they are ready. When they feel safe to get up on their 2 feet, they will do it. When they feel they have established their voice and when they feel comfortable and able to communicate verbally, they will do it. It doesn't matter if they're 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 or 30. They will do it in their own time. Respect them and their time. That is so important. Do not compare anyone, especially those with special needs, or, you know, someone who is on the spectrum or neurodiverse. They can't help it. They will reach it when they reach it. They are more aware of their differences than you realise. So people picking out and comparing doesn't help their self-esteem or anything like that. You need to just let them be who they are and let them choose when they are ready. Don't push them, let them choose when they're ready, because that will happen in their own time. When they feel safe and comfortable, they will do it. So for number 6, it has to be, I don't know how to tell you how I feel because I don't have the words. So when you have autism, and actually with ADHD also, you can have trouble communicating how you feel verbally. You may use behaviour as a way of communicating, and I definitely suggest, you know, people learn that. It's very important that people realise behaviour is a way of a child or an adult communicating. If they're hitting out and they're angry and having a meltdown, obviously they're overwhelmed and they're anxious, or they actually feel in like, what the hell am I doing? Like, what's going on? They feel overwhelmed in the situation, in that scenario. They aren't feeling comfortable. So what do? You take that child away and make them feel comfortable. It's that simple, but for some reason, people just don't understand. They don't know how they feel themselves, so how do you suggest they tell you? I don't know. So for number 7, it has to be patient and be consistent. When a child or an adult is learning, is being taught something, they, you know, people with autism learn better when they are shown and when they are given time to learn. When you kind of learn slowly, you learn faster. I know it kind of sounds funny, but when someone is educating you really fast, some people really can, you know, they thrive in situations like that. But autistic people do not thrive in situations like that. It's too overwhelming. It's too, like, you're going too fast for us to process, because our, you know, our executive functioning isn't great, and it takes time to process. It takes time to get our hands and our body coordinated and to actually think, that's how you do it. It doesn't mean we aren't intelligent or we aren't worthwhile training up. No, it just means we learn in a different way. People need to realise that. So definitely just learn to be patient and consistent, and you will get there with that person. That person will reach your goal and will reach their realistic goal. So yeah. So for number 8, it has to be focus on what I can do rather than what I can't do. Instead of telling me you can't do this, why don't you praise me and say, actually, you're so good at this, you're really great at this, you're a natural at this, you can do this. Encourage me rather than knocking me down. What is the point in telling me things I can't do? Don't you know that I'm well aware of what I can't do? You know that I'm aware of my differences. You don't need to point them out. It will damage a person with autism's. It will just damage their self-confidence, their self-belief. Stop knocking them down, build them up. What's the problem in doing that? Help build the person rather than knocking them down. They just need you on their side. Stop knocking them down, believe in them, because trust me, when you believe in someone who has a neurodiverse neurological disorder, trust me, they will thrive and they are well worth your time and effort, trust me. For number 9, this one is super important because this is something that affects me all the time. Making friends and being social isn't something that comes naturally to us. We don't know how. We don't know how to approach someone. We don't know how to act in certain situations. So we result in masking, and sometimes it gets so exhausting that we'd rather just be on our own because we just don't know how to make friends or how to be normal or how to fit in. So what is really important here is that you realise that even though someone has autism, that doesn't mean they aren't worthy of your time or your friendship. But again, they are so worthy of your respect. They need respect. They deserve respect. They just learn in a different way. They just cope in a different way. They have different ways of living their life. It doesn't mean they're weird, a freak, anything like that. No, they are normal. They are human. Their life is their life. Do not judge them for the things they can't do. Encourage them. Just encourage them. Just please give them chance. If you know anyone who's on the playground or at work who has autism and they sit on their own, or they're on the they're playing on their own, go over there, because that person with autism will really appreciate that. It's not that we don't like being social. We love being social, but we don't know how. We need someone to guide, someone to support us in these uncertain scenarios. We need someone to have our back. So if you know anyone who has autism, please encourage them to join your group. Trust me, you will appreciate our friendship, because we love intensely, you know, we are passionate about our friends and we really are one of a kind. So please just do me a favour and make friends with that person who has autism that you see sat on their own, because trust me, they want to join in, they want to be your friend, but they don't know how. So for number 10, this one again, why do I keep saying this? They are all important, but this one really resonates with my heart, and it's something I need you guys to understand. There is a stigma that always goes around about autism and people with autism, that we don't know how to be empathetic. Yeah, we don't know how to be empathetic, we don't feel emotions. Now that is the most rubbish I've ever heard in my whole entire life. That is so not true. We actually feel emotions quite intensely, and sometimes it's hard and overwhelming for us. It's not that we do not know how to cope, it's not that we don't feel emotions. What we lack is cognitive empathy, and that is different than basic standard empathy. Like, everyone has empathy, every human has, well, every good person has empathy, let's just say that, and all of us autistic people, we do. But let me just get on with what I'm trying to say here. We don't lack empathy, we lack the ability to predict other people's actions, other people's intentions, their reactions, basically their emotions. We find that very difficult. Like I said at the beginning, we kind of like control, like for example with our routines, we like structure, and we kind of struggle with emotional structure. That's kind of the most easiest way to explain it. Other people's emotions are not structured to us. We don't have a clue. They're unpredictable, and that's kind of what we struggle with, is the cognitive, you know, emotional map. To read between the lines is very difficult. You might say one thing and you might be kind of being jokey, but we'll be like, oh, that's what I meant to do. Not because we're dumb. It's very difficult to find the difference between being sarcastic and having a joke and being dead serious. Like, sometimes people's, you know, facial expressions do not give away what they actually mean. Like, it's very difficult. So I just really want you to know we do not lack empathy. We are very empathetic, and actually we're extremely intensely empathetic. We feel everyone's emotions all at once. It bombards us, but actually you wouldn't know that because we have to mask that. We're so clever. But All we lack really is the cognitive empathy, and that's, like I say, is the ability to kind of predict stuff and understand emotion. It's not we don't have it, because we do. Every human does. So yeah, so I hope you have learnt 10 things about autism that you didn't already know. If you did know all of these, then we could be great friends. But what I really wanted you guys to know from this video is that people who have neurological disorders, mental health issues, they are still human. They aren't their diagnosis. They are not their illness. They are not. They are a person who has autism. They have ADHD, but that's only a very, 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 very small aspect of who they are. So please give that person a chance without judging them for their diagnosis, because again, you're totally wrong for doing that, and they don't, you know, you don't deserve them as a friend if you're going to judge them for what they can't do rather than what they are absolutely amazing at. Remember, always be kind, always include people, don't judge people, and always smile, because that makes you beautiful and handsome. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.